Hey everyone, Professor Hank here. So today we're going to talk about how you can pass arguments to your constructors in C++. We'll look at the syntax for that. We'll look at how you can work with default arguments, and we'll also look at how this is going to work with dynamic memory allocation as well as static memory allocation. So to get started, let's go ahead and write ourselves a little class, which we'll call class triangle. And for this guy, we're going to have two private member variables. One will be base and the other will be height. And as part of the public interface, we will have our constructor and a couple mutators and a couple accessors. So the constructor will have two parameters. So we'll have one parameter named B and one parameter named H. And remember, constructors have to have the same name as the class and they have no return type. So this is simply going to set the base to parameter B and then the height to parameter H. So the first argument is going to initialize the base and the second argument is going to initialize the height. So we'll continue with declaring our member functions as inline. So we'll have a set base member function, and that's simply going to accept the base as an argument. And then we'll simply update the base variable. And then we'll do a similar thing for the height. And then we will create a couple accessors. So these are our mutators. So a little bit of review here with all the terminology. So here are our accessors, and they're simply going to return the base and the height. So double get base const, and then we're just simply going to return the base, and then we'll do a similar thing for the height. Return base, return height. And why don't we do a little get area in here too? And then this is going to return the half the base times the height. So return 0.5 times base times height. Okay, so now our triangle class, when we instantiate it, we're going to be able to pass it two arguments. So how are we going to do that? We'll look at how we can do that first with static memory allocation, then we'll look at how we can do it with dynamic memory allocation. So we'll create a triangle object, same way as we've done it before. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass two arguments. So the base is going to be 1.2, and then the height is going to be 3.4 in this example. So if you take a look at that syntax, then this looks very similar to a regular old function call, right? And let's say that we had some function named t that was just a standalone function. Well, it looks exactly the same, right? It's just the difference here is that, we're using a constructor in this triangle object. So it looks exactly the same because it's behaving the exact same way. So when you instantiate a triangle, the 1.2 is going to be assigned to B, and then the 3.4 is going to be assigned to the H, right? So let's go ahead and test it. We'll calculate the area and display that on the screen. So you see that we have success. That's half the base times the height. Now, as an alternative, you can use an initialization list with these guys. It's 1.2, 3.4. This was introduced in version C++ 11, I think, trying to standardize the way everything gets initialized, or give you the option to do so anyway. So you can see it works exactly the same. Whichever one you want to use is completely up to you. So let's see what it would look like if we were to do dynamic memory allocation. So if we were to do dynamic memory allocation, we would have to have our pointer to hold the memory address of our triangle object. So we could do something like new triangle, and then we can do the same thing. So we can do 1.2, 3.4 here. And since t pointer is now a pointer, we're gonna have to use that arrow notation to be able to access the getArea method. So we need to go to the object whose memory address is in tptr and then get that method and access that method. And then if we're going to do dynamic memory allocation, let's not forget to delete our dynamically allocated memory. So we'll test it. You can see that it works just the same. And you can use the old initialization list here as well if you want to. So either way works in that case. All right, so now let's take a look at using default arguments with our constructor. So default arguments work the same way here as they do with standalone functions. So you can specify values that should be assigned to these parameters in the case that you decide that you don't want to pass any arguments, right? So now I can come down here, and since I have these defaults here, I can instantiate the triangle without passing anything at all. So I can do triangle T because the default arguments will get passed automatically, the 0 and the 0. So then we'll see what that looks like just to prove that it actually worked. Get base, cout, and get height. Right, so that's going to work just fine. Now, of course, I can pass a single argument if I want to. So I could do something like 8.3, right? And so that 8.3 will be assigned to the first parameter, which is going to assign the base, that 4.3, and then 0 will go to the second parameter. And so the height will be assigned 0. So we'll see the 8.3 and the 0 here. All right. And then finally, if you want to, you could then pass, a second argument if you want. So, I mean, it's kind of nice with these default arguments, with functions and with constructors. It's like giving you 3 different options for how you actually want to instantiate the triangle. Now, this is going to work also with dynamic memory allocation. So let's look at that and prove that that works. So triangle, T pointer equals new triangle. So you can see I didn't pass any arguments there. And so I need to use that arrow notation. Or not. I mean, I could use pointer notation too. I could do star T pointer and then dot get height if I wanted to. Let's not forget to delete our object. So you can see it works with dynamic memory allocation as well. And then we can, do, whatever combo we want, just like we could with statically allocated memory as well. And finally, you can see that we can pass it the 2 values. Okay. And then of course, with both static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation, you can use that initialization list as an alternative as well. So, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you how you actually want to write the code. It's a stylistic decision on whether you want to use the initialization list like this or not. It's kind of nice to do it for everything and that it keeps it kind of consistent, but it's up to you. Okay, so now when we have a constructor that doesn't require any arguments, then what we have is a default constructor. Because remember, what makes a constructor a default constructor is if it doesn't require any arguments at all. Now, you got to be careful that if you do something like that, that you don't have or try to have 2 default constructors, right? Let's say if I try to do something like this, we're like, oh, well, I'm going to use default arguments for my second constructor. And then, I'll have an actual default constructor here, right? I'll do something like this. I'll say, base equals height equals 0, right? You're thinking, well, I'll have one constructor that uses default arguments, then I'll have one that doesn't. Well, problem here is going to come when you try to call the constructor without passing any arguments. So when you try to do this, see how the red squiggle shows up? Why? Why did it do that? Because since this constructor doesn't require any arguments and this constructor doesn't require any arguments, compiler can't tell between which one it should call, right? Should it call this version or should it call this version? So, you can't have 2 constructors in the same class that require no arguments. You can have one or the other, but not both. Now keep in mind that if your class is lacking a default constructor, then you must instantiate it by passing the required arguments. So if all you have are constructors that require an argument to be passed, you cannot instantiate it without passing arguments to the constructor. Okay, and finally, let's go ahead and just show you what it would look like to create this constructor that uses default arguments conventionally, right? We'll do a non-inline version. So it's going to look a little bit different. So we'll do this, and you don't have to have parameter names in your prototypes. So I'm going to delete those. And then we'll go out here and we'll define our constructor. So it belongs to class triangle. It is the constructor, so it has the same name as the class. And it's going to have the 2 parameters, so B and H. Then it's simply going to initialize base with the first argument and height with the second. And then you're going to see that that works just fine. So there you go. And why did it show zeros? Because we didn't pass any arguments, and therefore the default arguments kicked in and were used. So now you know how to pass arguments to your constructors in C++.